Well, hello everybody, Martin Cordner here, and welcome to my Facebook page and also to another Composer Meets conversation. As you can see on your screen before you, I've got a fantastic guest in with me tonight in the shape of Major Darren Shaw. And Darren and his wife Lynn are the recently appointed commanding officers at Scunthorpe, and by the wonders of technology, we're going to have a chat this evening. We were just saying before coming on air that we're not sure there are many Salvation Army officer composers, active Salvation Army officer composers knocking around. We might be one of just a few. So if you do talk to us tonight or ask questions, go easy on us because there aren't many of us, and we want to, and we're very unique. So we want to get through this the other side. But in all seriousness, Darren, it's great to have you with us on Composer Meets Composer. Good to see you. How are you?
Thank you. Yes, I'm good. Thanks. Yeah, it's good to be with you.
Good. And you're sitting in a house which apparently you're not going to be in for hopefully too much longer. Is that right?
That's right. Yes. It's one of those strange things where people ask us how you're settling in. We don't immediately jump in with, oh yeah, we've settled in fine, because having been in this house since July, and between us and DHQ, we've all realised it's a little bit small. We're on the route to a new one. We found one, and hopefully all things going well. We should be in. Maybe by the end of the year, maybe in the new year, but certainly soon, yeah.
Good on you. Well, one thing I've learned about in officership, well, I've learned lots of things in officership, but one of them is how to pack boxes and how to live with them as well. So I guess you're going to be living with boxes for a few months more, but every blessing with that. We hope that works out okay.
Thank you.
And for those of you that don't know, Darren and Lynn are both from the south coast of England, with Darren from Southampton and Lynn from Portsmouth. They have 3 grown-up children, and during their years as officers, they've served in London, Suffolk, Hertfordshire, Cornwall, Hampshire, South Yorkshire, and now North Lincolnshire, of course. Before his officership training at William Booth College, Darren earned a Bachelor of Science degree. Stop me, Darren, if any of this isn't right, but this is what I've got. A Bachelor of Science degree in Zoology, Biology,
UCL there, that's right. Yeah.
And Chemistry, UCL, fantastic. Darren is the founding director of Soul with a View Media. We're going to hear a little bit about that, hopefully, in our conversation tonight. And also, Darren has interests, as well as music, also in photography and online media as well. And Darren and Lynn actually have a website. It's an online community designed to bring people closer to God's word. It's called thewordtribe.com, thewordtribe.com. So make sure you check that out, everybody.
Yeah, visit that.
And we're going to hear about that later on as well. Now, Darren, as you know, one of the key ingredients of these chats is that we get those who are watching to join in as well. So what we're really hoping and praying, guys, is that you might just drop in the comments below this video a quick hello, so we know you're watching. And also, if you have a question or a comment or anything you want to say to Darren or to myself, we'd love to hear from you, and we'll do our best to get back to you and give you a shout out. Okay, so I've got my phone here. I'm going to try and get the video up, because if I look at the video, I will be able to see the comments underneath, hopefully, as they come in. Great. Okay, right then, Darren, let's kick off. Just tell us, how has lockdown been for you and your family? What's it been like?
Well, all in all, a bit of an adventure, really. It's been new for everybody, new stuff that we've all had to find out how to do and how to survive. But there have been a lot of things going on for us. Obviously, initially there was lockdown, then learning thinking about ways to do ministry in this new and strange environment, and how to reach people who, especially those who didn't have technology at home to readily connect with.
Yeah.
So finding ways around that, we came up with Grace Mail boxes. We sat at home with piles of stuff, putting into individual boxes and mailing them out to people. And so everybody got the same box, something for the mind, something for the body, something for the spirit, that we were sending out to everybody to make sure they're all involved. Thankfully, another one of the strange things was we had our 2 university-age children home when they weren't due to be. So they were with us for 6 months in the end, sort of finishing their year online.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So we had a full house when we just about got used to not having them home. And then, of course, we started the process of packing up the house because we were changing appointment and moving.
Yes.
Then the move, then moving in, then moving them back into uni, all the while trying to work out how to do distance and safe ministry at a new call that we've never met anyone. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's just for starters. Yeah, there's been
An
a lot
adventure
going on.
to say the least. I mean, some people
Yeah.
might call it a nightmare, but I like the positive spin you're putting on it. Yeah, I guess officership and moving to all these different places is an adventure. It's a great way to look at it, actually, isn't it? I don't know about you with your kids, but we've always said to ours, we're going to go and live in such and such a place. I wonder what the park's going to be like. I wonder where our nearest cinema will be. You know, you can make it an adventure, can't you? And I guess it's how you look at it. So yeah, that sounds like it's been a challenging 6 months or 7 months, and having your university kids home with you and stuff, and especially when you'd kick them out once and then they come back.
Yeah, they keep coming back and then they stayed. Yeah, I know.
Excellent. So I'm sure most of the people watching this broadcast, Darren, will know that you are a Salvation Army officer. So therefore they'll know that you're a Salvationist. But what would be really interesting for people to hear, I think, would be how you actually became part of the Salvation Army and what your story is in that sense. So tell us how your Salvation Army story began.
Well, I've got one of those stories where I was born into it. I've never had that. I've never had that great startling conversion experience or that time of kneeling at the drum in the open air or any of those things. I was brought in the pram to the Salvation Army, and my family go back generations in the army and church on one side, Salvation Army on the other. So that's where it started for me. But I'd have to say that what started out as something that I was born into became something I very much bought into, and always found myself believing in God, having a very strong faith, and was really active in every part of the Salvation Army I could get into, really, right from a young age. So, I did the usual things, the YP band. My dad was the YP band leader, so I couldn't escape that one. The singing company as well. So, learning and in and around music from a very early age, joined the Corps Cadets, grew up through the ranks. So, yeah, very much from 2 weeks old to today. It's just been a constant part of my life, really.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. Yeah, so you're dyed in the wool, really. So what was the instrument that your dad put in your hand age 7 or whenever it was?
Well, the way I remember it is that Dad was playing a cornet at the time. So I wanted to be a cornet player too. And it was actually at school that they had a little band and a brass teacher at the school. And so he took one look at my embouchure, at my mouth, and said, "You're never going to be a cornet player." I was devastated. So they started me out on tenor horn. I then played baritone for a little bit, tenor horn for a bit, baritone, euphonium. But I think the one I played for the longest over the years has probably been the tenor horn.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Firmly in the middle of the band.
Yeah. The guy was right. I can't play a cornet.
Oh, okay. I can let you into a secret. Neither can I, but I've been faking it for a long time. Okay, so yeah, dyed in the wool. And then you just said a few minutes ago there wasn't a blinding Damascus Road or conversion experience, but how then did it work for you with your calling? There must have been a moment where you realized that God's plan for your life was becoming an officer. So how did that all happen for you?
Well, like I said, I always believed. I don't remember a time when I didn't have some kind of faith, where I didn't feel that God was very real. But there was a time, probably around the year when I was 11 or 12 years old, and it sort of coincided with when I started to get sufficiently able musically to start experimenting with making stuff up. I found that the creative process around music coincided with a feeling of connection with God.
Right.
I started to feel, as that kind of coalesced with, I started to feel like God was communicating with me, and then gradually I grew to understand what that communication was, and then that's when I can say that I felt that God was speaking to me, as you might want to put it. So that was probably around the age of 12. And I knew that that kind of communication was a drawing towards ministry. I have very strong memories of being very struck by and even connected to the story of Samuel the prophet.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that being read in the evening meeting in the hall when I was young, and feeling almost like an electric current between me and this story of God speaking to young Samuel. He was, they reckon, about 11 years old.
Yeah.
And I thought, I know what that feels like. I didn't tell anyone that, but that's what I felt internally.
Yeah.
And ever since, I've had that stamp on my life, and from that age knew that ministry was my calling. And obviously at that age, the Salvation Army was all I knew. And so I translated that into that's an officership calling, and later that was refined. God did confirm that, and he has again over the years reconfirmed that, yes, I want you in the Salvation Army, I want you to do your thing there. So it's kind of an evolving thing, and it was definitely intertwined with music and creativity.
Right.
But yeah, very clear calling in the end after I worked out what was going on.
Yeah. So you say that was about 12 years old, a sort of a sense of calling. And you just said there that you were experimenting with music and things like that. So let's concentrate on the music side for a minute. How then were you introduced? Well, let's just say we know that you've been in the YP band and Salvation Army music, but did you go for any music lessons or anything like that? And what was the ignition to your music writing, do you think?
Well, I had a brass teacher who would he would teach me at school, but then he would come to our house and teach me a bit of theory. So I went through the first few grades of theory with him. So I was learning the building blocks really of what music was and how it worked. At the same time, I was kind of just on my own experimenting with the piano. We didn't have a piano at home at the time. I'd walk around to my grandparents' place and let myself in with a spare key. And I taught myself to play for a bit, and it got to the point where I was starting to play fairly well. And this other guy at the corps who was a pianist said to my parents, he's got potential there, but he's doing it all wrong. You need to get him a teacher.
Right.
So they found me a teacher. That one didn't work out. The second teacher did. She was great, and she really started to take me through the more advanced theory stuff. And when she found out that I was writing things, she would set me challenges and try and plug my weaknesses. And she'd write a few bars and say, "Go and finish that." So yeah, she was a real catalyst for that. But the hub of it was my personal time with God. Once I got a piano keyboard in my bedroom, so I was probably 13, 14 by this time, I would go after school, go upstairs and I would play, and I wasn't doing my practice for my lessons. I was just busking. I was making stuff up as it came. And stuff would come out of that. So I'd get a tune and I'd say, right, that's a tune, and I'd start playing again. And really I was expressing what was going on in here through my fingers, and it just became a natural way of me. I said this to Andrew Mayer when we were chatting. I said, this is the way God and I did business at that time.
Okay.
It still is.
Yeah, interesting. So it came from playing the piano then, Darren, for you. And was your first leaning then to come up with a song, or was it to come up with a tune, or what was going to be the end product when you were just beginning?
Yeah. Well, at heart, I'm a songwriter. That's how I would identify myself. But I think in the end, the reason I wrote songs is because I was a melody writer. I would write melodies. I would express my feelings in a tune. And, obviously, with all the harmony associated with it as well. A lot of the music I wrote then is still unheard by a lot of people, because really it's piano music. It's stuff that you would listen to, say like Debussy. I'm not putting myself in his league, but let's say you were wanting to listen to something relaxing or something that moved you, then that's the sort of stuff I was playing, and some of that was the right kind of stuff to turn into a song. It had the right kind of range.
Yes,
but a lot of it wasn't. So
right.
A real mixture of stuff. I became a songwriter because that meant that I could give what I was writing to someone to then perform or to use or to do something with, whereas the other stuff was just for me, really.
Really interesting. Great. Well, listen, we have had a comment or two come in from someone you might know. This lady is called Dawn Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Hello from Darren's mum and dad in in the premier South Coast city, Southampton. What about
My
that? I
dad
don't
wrote that. That's not my mum. That's my dad.
know. Glad to have you, Darren's mum and dad. Thanks for watching. Now, everybody, if you're just joining with us, Darren and I are chatting about music, about faith, and all kinds of things. And we'd love to hear from you. So if you have a question for Darren or for me, or there's something you want us to talk about, a particular topic or whatever, just leave us a shout out in the comments and we will say hello and see if we can answer that for you. So then, Darren, that's been interesting. So around about 12, 13, 14, that seems to have been the years really where your calling and your composition combined really,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
was all really taking off. That was only 10 years ago, of course.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Barely had any time.
in our dreams. Now, something I want to talk to you about tonight is your Soul with a View dream, and that became Soul with a View Media Limited. So this is back in 2010, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think it still exists.
It does.
Yeah. So tell us about what Soul with a View is, and then the story of it, how it came to be, and how it looks now.
Yeah, well, it's 10 years ago this month actually that I founded it, and that's because I've been through a long period, as people will know who know my story, a period of ill health. I was too disabled to carry on my vocation in officership, and so at some point my officership had to come to an end. So it ended in August 2010, the first time round anyway. And then I needed something to do. I needed some way of still following that calling that was still in my life. I still really wanted to connect people with God. I still really wanted to communicate about Him with other people. And so I needed an outlet for that. So I thought, well, I would start a publishing company. It was intended to publish resources and digital media and any way I could think of really to help people connect with God, whether that was visually, audibly, or with the written word. And so that's why I founded the company and I started work with that. And it actually played a real role in me getting back into officership in the end as well. Because when I applied, when I was well enough and I was given the medical go-ahead, the all clear, I reapplied, and the Salvation Army, the Officer Review Board, wanted me to have worked in another job before coming back in. And I was able to demonstrate that actually Soul with a View had been paying me a salary. By that stage, I was earning enough to take a salary from the company, and that was yeah. They said, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you've been working your way back into the workplace. So yeah, okay. Let's go on to the next stage. So in that sense, it was really important. I didn't know it would be.
Yes.
And when I founded it, I didn't know whether or not I'd be back in officership either. That was, I didn't ever know if I'd be well enough.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it ended up, God knew what He was doing, I suppose, leading me to that and giving me that passion, that need to do something.
Yes.
And it helped me there. And obviously coming back into officership, I had to sell the company. So I sold it to a good friend,
Right.
Kay Morby, who lives not too far away from us, or at least he didn't when we were in the Rotherham area anyway.
Yeah.
And I met her a long time ago. She bought the company and it's about to undergo a makeover and a relaunch and a revamp. So do look up soulwithaview.com, because Kay is about to relaunch everything and it's going to be great. And go and support her in what she's now doing with that ministry. Yeah. So it's been an important part of my life. Yeah.
I took a quick look at it this past week, Darren, and saw that there were some really interesting daily devotionals that she'd been putting on there. I think all through Advent last year, for example, one every day and things like that, which or did December, through the month of December, I think it was. Yeah, definitely look that up, guys. That's really interesting, Darren. So not only was it a ministry, but it was a means of rehabilitation for you as well.
Yeah.
And that's good to hear. I love to hear about people, especially officers, I guess, because we get so into a certain job description, and everybody thinks we're all the same. But actually, all officers have different strengths and different gifts. And I love hearing about what people are passionate about, and that sounds like something that you were really passionate about. And actually, as I think about you, these days. You know, you strike me as the kind of guy who quietly and faithfully, but creatively seeks to bring others closer to Christ. It's that you, because you're not, to me, Darren, I hope this doesn't offend you with me saying this, but you've never, to me, been a stand on top of a building and shout to the world type guy.
No.
But you've just been working away, working in your different appointments, and being really faithful in that way, and having this creative output, if you like, is really inspirational. I love to see that. Is that a fair assessment, do you think, of
Yeah.
Darren Shaw?
Yes.
I
think so. I've never courted any kind of attention for myself. That's not my style. I find myself, I think my calling is really as a kind of a bridge builder, to find different creative ways of building bridges, whatever they might look like, and in whatever form.
Yes.
Like I say, I mean, music can be an emotional bridge. It can be a way of leading someone into the presence of God.
Yes.
Or the written word can do the same if someone's more intellectual, if they want to think their way towards God, or think their way out of a knot they've got themselves into. Yeah, there are lots of ways of creatively bridging the gap that people find themselves. So, you know, a lot of people find, I can't pray. I don't know whether God's really there. I don't know if he's real at all. I mean, how do I bridge that gap? And that's the kind of work I like to do, is help people to bridge that. And the more things I can get out there, as you say, that quietly, that people can pick up on, and that might bless them or might guide them a bit closer to God, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah, okay. Well, quiet definitely is a key word, but we are shouting out loud about Soul with a View Media, aren't we? And rightly so as well. And we are shouting out about thewordtribe.com, and we want people to go and check those two sites out. That would be awesome. Yeah, thank you. So I think we've had another couple of comments come in. Oh, we definitely had one from our Estelle Blake, who says, "Hey, Darren." And then your mum or your dad came back on correction South Coast. Oh, because they put South Coast, which is a different idea altogether. All right.
Yeah.
Great. So you just mentioned there a few minutes ago about your period of ill health. So I guess this may not be an entirely comfortable thing to talk about, or it may, but we've all known people who have suffered in various ways, and I guess your period of ill health was a period of suffering in many ways. You've come through it now, and I just wondered, there might be people who are going through a similar thing tonight, or a difficult time. What's your reflection on that period of your life, you know, and how would you say it shaped you today, looking back?
I remember when I was first well enough to preach. We were at Southsea at the time. Lynn had been taken on as the associate officer there for a while I was out. We were talking about it beforehand, weren't we? Southsea's our home corps, and I remember I was starting to get well enough to just do a short preachment. So they were saying, "Yeah, come and preach." And I remember saying to them quite a lot that I had really been convinced of how God works to our good and his glory through all things, even and when sometimes especially suffering. And I think that's one of the things I learned the most. Although for me personally, which isn't, well, I suppose it is a principle that everyone can take on board, is that even when I was unable to do anything, and I very much felt that my calling at first was very much what I could do, what can I do for God? Even when I could do nothing, I was still God's beloved child. And nothing I could or could not do could change that. And that, I know that probably people think, well, that's obvious, you know, but when really knowing that, really absorbing that, laying on a sofa, unable to move, and really knowing that you're still loved, even though you can't contribute anything, even though your contribution is not generating anything of worth. Just being you and God's child is enough for him to love you and to cherish you. And that value that I felt then is something which I work hard to hold on to. I can't say I've never forgotten, because sometimes I do. I still forget. But it is something that I can go back to now, knowing that I knew that for certain, that I was still valued by God, even though I was a human being, not a human doing. I know that's another cliche, but I knew what that meant at that moment.
Yeah. That's really touching to hear. And that's a real testimony as well, isn't it? That you can say to people, yeah, I have been where you have been, you know,
Yeah.
and at my lowest point, I knew I had a God that loved me. I mean, that's a fantastic testimony.
And it's a huge thing in ministry, getting back into ministry, because there are people of all ages and all various conditions that I can say to, look, my condition might not have been the same as yours, but I know what it is to lose your faculties. I know what it is to not be able to do what you used to be able to do. I know what it is to worry about what tomorrow holds because you don't know how you're going to be. I know what that's like from the inside. And people
Yes.
find that such a comfort to have a pastor who knows
Yes.
something of where they are. And it also gave me a huge insight into the world of physical disability and the challenges people face with things like mobility and getting around and feeling undervalued because of the way society is structured. And those insights pastorally are incredibly valuable.
Yeah, yeah. So it opened your eyes in many ways as well.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's so. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit trite to call it a learning experience. But that's not very helpful. But,
no, I'm a slow learner if that's the case. Yeah.
But equally, we learn through all these things, don't we? I guess, and you will have gained new insights. Has it shaped your ministry, the way that you preach on a platform, or the way that you maybe approach songwriting? Do you think?
I don't know about songwriting. I mean, I think I've matured musically, but perhaps that's something as a development that's ongoing anyway. I'm always a learner. I always try and learn new things.
Yeah.
I think, yes, perhaps if I'm writing a song, certainly lyrically, I'm much more about wholeness and well-being, I think, in my approach than I am about. Let me explain a bit more. I think that there's a big difference between healing and wholeness.
Yeah.
I think some people view healing as a miracle, quite rightly, but as a miracle that means that what once was diseased or disabled is no longer. That there's a restoration. But I know of people who have never been healed. They still have the disease or disability.
Yes.
They are whole.
Okay.
They are whole people. I mean, look at the famous example of Johnny Erickson-Tada, who was disabled, quadriplegic for most of her life.
Yes.
And yet she is a whole person, and she is powerful in her ministry.
Yeah.
Having never been healed.
Yeah.
So it's not a deficiency to be unwell. I think that's something people who are sick need to know. That's not a failure on your part. It's not a lack of faith on your part. Okay, don't sit there thinking it's your fault.
Yeah, that's right.
It isn't, and God can still work for your good and His glory through all that you're going through.
Yeah.
And you can still be whole even if you're not healed of whatever it is that you would say was your illness or your disability. So I think wholeness and well-being are very important. And I think I see that in the Gospels as well, with the conversations Jesus has with the people He heals. First things He says to some of them are, "Your sins are forgiven," or, "What do you really want me to do for you?" Or, "Do you want to be well?" You ask those questions. He's about the whole person. Anyway, I've gone on long enough about that. But I think that's probably my approach now.
Yeah, fantastic. You were almost giving us a sermon there, Darren. Thank you.
Yeah.
But we expect that from a Salvation Army.
Absolutely, yes.
We want to get our money's worth out of you. So yeah. But thanks for those insights. That's really helpful, and I hope somebody watching tonight appreciates that. My wife's just left us a message to say she loves that thought. So now I'm going to tell you something very controversial now, Darren. You're not expecting this, but my wife, who I love very much, has a favourite piece of music in the Salvation Army brass band repertoire, which is "Guardian of My Soul" by Darren Shaw.
Tell me more.
And I remember the first time she told me that, I just didn't know how to feel, to be honest with you. Well, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic piece. But
my son says the same. Isaac, my son, he says, "I like your piece, Dad. It's not my favourite."
Oh, right.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
What I was wondering was, could you give Lynn a full list of my published works and see if she could bring herself to say one of them is her favourite? That might make me feel a little bit better. Would that be okay?
I'll try that.
Right.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah. So look, Guardian of My Soul. I think we should just talk about that for a few moments.
Yeah.
And before we do, I just want to say to everybody who's watching, do say hello in the comments, because we want to know that you're watching. And if you have a question or a comment or anything, we'll do our best to answer. So feel free to write something and we'll give you a shout out. So Guardian of My Soul, that was received with some extraordinary warmth. When it was released, I think it was 2012. Forgive me, I think it's published in 2013. So it probably appeared a year before. It's been used widely. I know we have an SATB arrangement by Andrew Mayer now from Sunderland Millfield, which is fantastic. As you look back on that period and the way that how that piece was received, I wonder what you as the writer attributes to its success. You know, was it just a case of it was the right piece at the right time, or were we desperate for meditational type pieces of music and you having to provide one? Was there something of God in it, or what's your take on it? Why do you think it was so popular?
I really wish I knew the answer. I mean, if all of us knew the answer to that, we'd be writing them, turning them out all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they say about hit songs, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
But then for me, I think this isn't an answer because I don't know the answer. Why is it popular? All I know is that from my point of view is it's sincere. That from my point of view, it wasn't ever written to be popular. It wasn't ever written to, you know, oh yeah, people are going to love this. It was none of that. In fact, as I've said before, that perhaps if Lynn hadn't persuaded me to send it to my friend Dean, editorial at the time, it may never have seen the light of day. I wrote it as personal therapy. It was something to help me as I felt I was recovering, and that turns out that I was. You know, I was having a good time with concentration that I hadn't had in years. So for me, it was the right piece at the right time because it was personal and therapeutic.
Yeah,
and perhaps some of that comes out in the music. Perhaps some of that comes, you know, some of my emotion comes out in the emotion of the music. Perhaps that's part of it, and maybe people can pick up on that and hear that. That questioning, that yearning, those sorts of things. I can hear those sounds in the way the music's written.
Yeah.
I can't say that it was. I mean, it certainly wasn't deliberate or manipulative in any way.
Yes.
Putting that kind of music in there, it was a pre-existing tune anyway.
Yeah.
And if I'm giving you the pious holy answer, I think there's something of the Holy Spirit there. Not to suggest that I was in any way inspired. Other people, that's for other people to judge. But I think the Holy Spirit does work in people's lives when they hear it, because I've seen that and I've heard that many times over. So I can't deny that is a reality for some people, that the Spirit seems to whisper to them through these notes. I mean, you said about the army in need of meditative pieces. I think we're overloaded with those, aren't we?
It's true. We definitely are.
If I was going to write a piece deliberately that I wanted to be popular, I probably wouldn't choose a meditation.
Yeah.
I'd choose something a bit different, a bit, you know, well, maybe this will tickle the earbuds, you know, that's the, so, you know, I really don't know, but I think there's something of my journey in it, which people can identify with, whether they know it or not. And there's something of the Holy Spirit using my sincere offering, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get a lot of that. I'll just throw this silly comment in for whatever it's worth, but I think it'll be at my wife's funeral most probably as well. So hopefully that gives you a good feeling. Two things I'm dying to know about the piece, Darren, is the story with the song on which it's built, the song of the same name, but then also what happened after you sent it to Dean. Did it go to the ISB or whatever? I'm interested to know how it actually got out there. So tell us first of all about the song, where that came from, and the story with that.
Yeah, the song came many years before. The song in its the first verse of the song, because there are now two. The two verses are published in Hallelujah choruses in America.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't realise that they had one too. Great. Did you do that one, Darren?
The second verse.
No, did you do the Hallelujah chorus arrangement?
No, I didn't. No, I don't know who did that, but it's I only found out after it was done. It was there.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
I'm thankful that it is, because that's at least where the whole song is now in print. Okay. So it does exist as one entity somewhere.
Yeah.
The initial publication was of the first verse only in an independent publication, Fletcher House, My Heart, My King. Yeah. It was published there and then picked up by the Salvation Army and put into Magnify.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's just a one verse chorus, if you like.
Okay.
But that came about because of that publishing project, My Heart, My King. I went to the first Roots in Wales before it went to Southport in '95, met up with Brian Willits there, and he said, have you got any songs? And I had a tune, one of those tunes that had kind of rolled off the fingers when I was 13.
Yeah.
I had a whole pile of them. I thought, well, this one's a good one. This one will sing well.
Yeah.
I fished around. I did a paraphrase of 1 Peter 2, 24 and 25 and thought, yeah, this is fitting together, and submitted that. It got published then and then picked up, as I say, by the Army. So it became a song that way, although the tune had been written probably 15 years before,
right.
Or so. And then the second verse came along a few years later. So it had a kind of a patchwork history, but wherever it was sung, and it wasn't necessarily picked up on to start with very quickly, but wherever it was sung, it was always really popular. And people would say to me, I really like it. It's not long enough, but I really like it. That's why the second verse came about.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
So that's the sort of the potted history of the original song, really. It was, it was kind of a commission in a sense.
Okay. And so in terms of its brass life then, you wrote it in 2012, presumably, and then sent it in. What happened after that? Well, the story goes that it was the end of 2011 when I wrote it, and I was persuaded, as I say, by Lynn, you really got to send that in. I emailed it to Dean, who I'd met before. I think I'd met him a couple of times, and the Army had been doing a couple of these the symposiums, composers gatherings at Sunbury Court, and I'd been to one of those. I sat and chatted to Dean for ages and played him some of my stuff, some of my songs. Particularly, I didn't have a lot of brass in my repertoire at the time. I think I'd written 3 brass pieces before that, all when I was in my teens. So I got to know Dean a bit. So I sent this to him, and that morning in THQ, they'd been having the morning prayers, and I think it was the TC was leading prayers that morning, and had pulled out Guardian of My Soul to sing in prayers. And on the way back, Dean and one of his colleagues were talking and saying, wouldn't it be great to have a devotional piece based around that tune? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Dean gets back to his desk and switches on his computer, and there's my email with his radio file attached. Yeah.
And what Dean tells me is that after he and I had gone back and forth with a few edits and things, and sort of polished it up, that Steve Cobb leaned over his shoulder and says, print that out for me. I want to hear that. And played it in the ISB rehearsal. And I'm told it was an incredible atmosphere created after they played it. And it was that was it. That was history then, because they put it in their repertoire for that year. Okay. And they played it at the the Congress, the R-Fight, was it R-Fight? Yeah, the R-Fight Congress in 2012. Oh yeah. Albert Hall. Yeah. After, just before setting the scene for Linda Bond, General Bond, to speak. So it was a big moment for the piece, really, to be played there. Yeah. And I was back in Southsea in worship, and my phone was buzzing away in my pocket. Everyone I knew at the Congress was saying, "They're playing your piece." Yeah.
Superb. I tell you what, the R-Fight Congress was a pretty big stage for it to get an airing, wasn't it? Because it was the Albert Hall, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. It was the Albert Hall. Yeah, I'd always had a childhood dream, having grown up watching the proms, of having a piece of music of mine played in the Albert Hall, and I wasn't even there to see it. So, yeah. Well, you know what? I wasn't there either, Darren. I was actually running the London 10K that same Sunday. Oh wow! Okay. Believe it or not, and it was an extremely hot day. But anyway, that's the last time I did a marathon or any kind of a run, so I can't really give this impression that this is what I do all the time. But yeah, that was an inspirational weekend. I think people still talk about that. Yeah, thanks for giving us a few extra bits of context around that piece of music. I hope you all enjoyed listening to that. Thank you, Darren. Now, since you've been talking about that, we've had lots of comments come in, so let's just go to them. Linda Brinkman said earlier, agree. That's when we were talking about disability and how God can still speak to us and use us and things like that. Clive Darnell says, another great evening, love it. Oh, thanks, Clive. That's very good of you. Thomas Quick, he's from Canada. Hi, Thomas. He says, hi, Martin, always enjoy your interviews. And yes, I love Guardian of My Soul, both the vocal and the brass versions. Jean Croucher. Hi, Jean. Hello from the Croucher family. We can't get enough of Guardian of My Soul.
Right.
Speaks to us in a different way each time. Thank you for reassuring me that I didn't ask to be ill, but God can and is using me.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
nice to hear. Yeah, thank you, Jean. Richard Tinkler says, Darren spoke very well regarding disability. God does draw close. Amen to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, Stephen Shaw. Have you listened, Darren? Have you been sending money around to all your family to say?
No, I can't. I can't stop him. I'm sorry. I haven't paid them enough to stop them, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. You need to pay them a bit more.
Yeah.
Daddy here. Saviour, if my heart is tender.
Oh,
Singing company with your music arrangement that nobody can play. Think you were 12, 13 when you wrote it? Question mark. Does that
maybe
strike a chord?
Yeah, I wrote that for the singing company at Sholing, which is my home corps in Southampton.
Right.
And so the song is easy singing, easy playing until I decided I'd put a piano solo in between.
Right. Yeah.
There's a piano solo which leads to a key change for the last verse.
Yeah.
And so I probably was 15 or so when I wrote that, but they still sing it now.
Oh, right. Wow.
So and in fact, I think one of the recent junior soldiers, maybe last year, was made a junior soldier there and asked for that song to be sung. Yeah, so it's based on the word "Saviour, while my heart is tender" for the songbook.
Yeah.
But it was a new tune to that. I think the singing company leader was fond of those words and wanted new music to it. I think that's where it came from.
Right.
Yeah, they still use it. I mean, no one else has ever sung it, I don't think. But
yeah, well, by the sounds of it, not many pianists will have dared tackle it. I don't know, but
well, no, I know that poor Rian has a go at Sholing still, and she has to go. But if ever I'm home and at the corps and they want to play it, they drag me up to play it. She won't play it in front of me.
Yeah. Of course, I just realised that your parents are at Sholing Corps, which is where my mum soldiers as well.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of a connection there, haven't we?
Yeah. She'll know the song. Ask her about it. Yeah.
I might do that. Yeah, and I'll ask her how the therapy's going as well, having listened to it. Shall I?
Yeah. Do that. Yeah.
Great. Anyway, Andrew Mayer has left us a comment as well. Darren, you were chatting with Andrew. Andrew, I think he's a socks leader at Sunderland Millfield, isn't he?
Right. Yeah.
And he was the guy that set your Guardian of My Soul for SATB. And that's published in the Salvation Army's vocal repertoire. Andrew says, enjoying the chat, gents. Question, if you had to choose one piece or song which you wish you instead had written, which would it be and why? So do you want to field that one then, Darren? What song or piece do you wish you had written?
Music I wish I'd written. Well, I think there's quite a few of the Enigma variations, particularly Nimrod. I mean, what a piece of music that is.
Yeah.
So I think I'd probably go there. Something Elgar, maybe some of Debussy's preludes, stuff like that, or and Claire de Lune's beautiful as well. There are passages of that.
Yeah,
which I think shaped some of my own expression in music as well.
I think what you're saying really resonates with me tonight, Dan. I mean, I recently came across the Walk to Paradise Garden, which is Elgar, I believe, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, underrated. And you think of Pomp and Circumstance, don't they? But
that's right.
Stuff.
Yeah. And also, I would go for Debussy at this stage. I'm a late appreciator of Debussy, I think, because I've never been a pianist. I never had to come across his repertoire in study or practice or anything. But I think it was a Leopold Stokowski CD that I bought 10, 20 years ago, which is his orchestral arrangements of Night on a Bare Mountain and things by Mussorgsky, but also on there is Claire de Lune and the Cathedral Under the Sea by Debussy. That's just absolutely, if you listen to those orchestras, and anybody watching, dig out that CD by the Cincinnati Pops Orchestra, Leopold Stokowski. It's a fantastic CD. Thanks. So I think we both wish we'd written some Elgar and Debussy in summary. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it's because of, I mean, particularly with Debussy, it's the expressionism. It's the way, he's almost like a Monet painting, but with music. It's that kind of being able to communicate something without words.
Yes.
Which I find is a bit alien in the Salvation Army, and most people I speak to about their love of music, they always say, "Oh, and the words to that are so important." And yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But I think there's something in music that speaks to the soul that words cannot capture, and that's one of the things that I aim for in my writing. I'd love to be able to claim that I can do that. That's
yeah, definitely. I've just had a correction from Thomas in Canada. Thank you, Thomas. It was Delius that wrote "Walk to Paradise Garden." Yeah. But
talking about Canada as well, it was North York Temple were the first band to record Garden of My Soul. It was literally January 2012.
Oh right, wow.
Because they were coming over, weren't they, for a tour?
Yes, that's right.
And Dean was involved in the organising of the tour.
Yeah, he was.
So they got hold of an early copy and put it on a CD, slapped it on a CD straight away before anyone else. So in a way, yeah, it had already got underway right at the beginning of 2012.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, good. Yeah, we bumped into each other on that tour, but was it in Wales or something? Did you come down to Cardiff to see them?
No, I went to Reading. I think it was.
Oh, Reading. Forgive me. Yeah, I might not have bumped into you then.
Must have been someone else.
It might have been somebody who looks like you, Tom Cruise or someone like that.
Yeah, someone like that.
Yeah. Now, Sean Collins is just saying to us, "Hi, Sean. Thanks for watching and thanks for leaving a comment." He says, "I remember singing it with Shoaling Singing Company. Didn't even know it was Darren's arrangement." There you go. There's somebody who's had to go through your song.
Yeah. He's left the army since as well, so I'm sorry about that, mate.
Right. Thanks, Sean. Is that Sean who was at Regent Hall at one time? That Sean Collins?
Was it Sean Collins? Nigel and Lynn Collins.
Yeah, I think so.
Lads, and we sang a duet together at Genius Hobbs Camp, Sean, and I was Salty the Singing Songbook. You remember that? Yeah. That was 1988 or something.
I think it's probably time to move on then, Darren, before we dwell too much on that image. No. Okay, so tell us a little bit, staying with music, let's talk about what you've been doing recently, music-wise. That would be interesting to hear. Are you more in the songwriting side of things, or are you dipping into brass as well? What have you been doing lately?
Yeah, I mean, I've been dabbling in a few brass bits. I mean, I wrote something, it was a little while back now, for the youth band, the Yorkshire Youth Band, especially for them. And I've been working on a few personal projects as well. But really, yeah, the piano and the songs, they draw me much more. I find brass writing a little bit of hard work because my mind is so structured around the piano, really, I suppose.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of my brass work I always write a short score, 3 lines of music that I expand, I orchestrate for brass rather than write for brass, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So the songs have been drawing me. I've been working on a song with my daughter Jen, who's studying popular music at university.
Right.
So hopefully that's a song that will come out soon. We finished the song. We're just working on a recording of it now to try and put it out there in that format.
Great.
That we're both happy with. So I'm working on that with her at the moment. Remotely. And a big shout out to Rob Little as well, because I wrote a song with Rob Little quite a long time ago now. We started a project together on this song. One thing after another meant that it's been delayed over a while, but we've come up with a song now that we both really love. It's called Whisper. And no one's seen it yet or heard it yet, so we're gonna release that sometime soon and make that available.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, we're both really pleased with that. It's quite nice.
Yeah, Rob has written quite a lot of words in our journals, hasn't he? Quite prolific, really. I'm excited to hear about that and the song with your daughter as well. Tell us, Darren, for the songwriters out there, what are the opportunities within the Salvation Army for our songs to see the light of day? What's your experience of that, and where has your stuff been published?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a great deal of experience with it, to be honest, because I've submitted very little song-wise over the years, mainly because the sort of things I write, a lot of things I write naturally are more singer-songwriter style, and there isn't much of an outlet for that in our publications. And some of the SATP stuff, I mean, I was due to have a song published this year in Sing for Joy. Obviously, it's been put off because of COVID. That was a sessional song that I wrote for the Joyful Intercessors.
Oh, right, lovely.
So that one's coming out sometime soon, we hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is opportunity. I think especially if you are a lyricist or have a lyricist you work with for original content. There are lots of songs being published, aren't there, with old words to new tunes.
Sure.
And as beautiful and as great as they are, something completely fresh. I always go back to the Psalms that say, "Sing a new song." You need to have something new to sing about. Otherwise, your experience is stale. If you've got a living experience of God, then you've got something new to sing about. So, if that's you as a songwriter, get it out there. And there have been contemporary journals. There's been what's it called? Is it Grace? I should know because I've had a couple of songs published in it that Ira Thomas was overseeing.
Oh, right. Okay. Is it a UK publication?
UK publication, yeah. Right. So that's an opportunity for sort of more contemporary music to be published. But I'm not sure whether I don't know whether to say this. I'm not sure whether publishing is the be all and end all. If you can get your songs out there to be used and to glorify God and to move people, then do it. I mean, by all means, send everything you can in because we need as much creativity pouring in as possible. To editorial and support Andrew in his work. Most definitely.
That's right. And at the end of the day, that music ends up supporting the local core and local core ministry and Sunday worship. And that fresh song that somebody might send in might just mean a fresh experience for somebody on a Sunday morning or whatever, or on online ministry as it is at the moment. So thanks. Hey,
well, I think my message would be I think my message would be don't be afraid. Don't judge what you've written before you've sent it in. I mean, because I've made that mistake over the years. I've judged it and I've said, no, I'm filing that rather than sending it. And that's the mistake, really, isn't it?
It can be, you can be your own barrier. But I think sometimes it's helpful if you're new, especially like when I think back to when I first started writing stuff for brass, I would take it to the YP band. So I would say, get it tested out. Because that's a big learning experience, isn't it? When you actually hear what a group actually does with your song or with your band piece, then you realize what things don't really work. So that's good. So get other people to listen to it, but do send it in. And these days you get some wonderful, helpful and critical help, from the editors. Certainly here in the UK, and I know the other territories around the world as well have their music departments. So they will give you feedback as well. Which is what we all need. Sean Collins sent another message in, Darren, to say, yes, that's right. So it's Sean from the Rink, and he remembers it, Darren. He was little salty.
He was.
Okay. And a question for you from Richard Tinkler. Richard says, Darren, what's your feelings on Bach's Toccata for brass in D? Do you even know Bach's Toccata for brass in D?
Not particularly. I think I might have heard it actually, but I don't know what else to say about that.
No.
I'm sure that sounds like great fun.
Well, Bach's Toccata is a wonderful piece of music for organ. Of course, we know it in D minor. I presume it's D minor and not D, because that would not be a very nice thing to do to Bach's wonderful music.
Just imagine Bill Bailey doing something with that. Mind you, he usually changes things into the minor key to make it more interesting. But let's make this happy, shall we? And
that's right. That is definitely a Bill Bailey thing to do, and his whole thing on doorbells and stuff is absolutely hilarious, isn't it?
And the French ambulances.
Oh that's right. Yeah, I've seen all those. Look him up on YouTube, everybody. Bill Bailey and his amazing musical knowledge and comedy. So you've told us about things you've been working on. Have you got any plans to work on songs in the future, Darren, as well? Got any ideas?
Well. There was something I started work on a piece of music for our divisional celebration, which was due to happen in May, just gone. Obviously, had to be cancelled. There was a big celebration, and I was part of the planning committee, and one of the theme that we came up with was dive into something new, and we were looking at scriptures like, "Behold, I'm doing something new," and we're trying to encourage people to look ahead and look forward. So, of course, the first draft of what I worked on, when it came to lockdown, I was realizing this is almost prophetic. How the landscape ahead of us, which is what I was kind of writing about, is completely changing, transforming in front of our eyes.
Wow!
We have to find new ways to navigate our way through. And I was writing a piece of music that was going to involve a band, songsters, singers, and even involve perhaps some moving around the venue as well, sort of trying to really make it interactive, involve the congregation as well. It
Yeah.
was, I was throwing everything at it. But yeah, it was almost this I'm rewriting it now, with that sort of almost hindsight that we know that things are really going to change. And it's, I'm really excited by it because it can end up being something that is a real anthem for us coming out of lockdown. So I'm anxious to see how it's going to work out really when I finally complete it. Yeah.
It's dive into something new, the title of the song as well.
I haven't decided on the title yet.
Right.
That is the theme for the celebration.
Yeah.
And sort of for the year, for the division. I guess it'll extend now.
Yes.
But I'm doing something new is the refrain really, is the phrase that keeps coming through. God is God speaking to his people. I'm doing something new.
Okay.
Look and see. There's the landscape ahead is changing. It's, So I'm excited to see how that will turn out.
Very good. And everybody, if you have a suggestion for a title for Darren's new song, he'll receive them via email. You'll find him online somewhere, and he might even have a prize for the winner. Who knows?
Well,
digging you into a hole here, Darren, and myself. I'll try and get myself out of it. Good.
Yeah.
Hey, Darren, as we just wrap up in a few moments, we've just been talking about lockdown, and we don't know what the future is going to hold for us all. It's been very challenging, to say the least. My experience as a corps officer is I've seen corps folk lose almost everything, whether it be their job or their income or loved ones. Yeah. And I've seen corps folk and people in the world have a 6-month holiday, for one of a better phrase, because they've had an income coming in, but they've not been able to go to work, and they just have been free to do new things, maybe, and that's been a blessing to them. So I've seen the whole, like you will have, I've seen the contrast. And for you already mentioned your 7 months and described it as an adventure. Let's try and see beyond now, and I wonder what your thoughts are going forward. How are you and your family going to stay sane, stay grounded, stay rooted? What are your hopes for whenever we can come out of this? What do you think about the future?
Well, I think it's an ideal, or even close to perfect opportunity for us, everyone, to reevaluate and to say, what was it about our lifestyle that was fruitful, and what was it about our lifestyle that was draining or damaging? And so we can choose what to carry forward. And I mentioned healing and wholeness before, and I think anything that brings wholeness and anything that brings fruitfulness, those are the things that we need to hold on to. We can remain rooted, but our roots are in Jesus Christ, nothing else. That's where we're supposed to be rooted, deep in His love. We carry that forward, but we have an opportunity to genuinely ask ourselves, what is it that benefits me, that benefits the kingdom of God, that benefits others, that really and truly brings about transformation in the world? And I think as a Salvation Army and as Christians, we're about that. We're about bringing kingdom-style transformation to people's lives.
Yeah.
We're doing that during lockdown by providing people with help and with food and assistance wherever they need it. Yes, we are. But how can we move beyond that? How can we make this a lasting and fruitful impression on people's lives? How can we make their lives better beyond this catastrophe of a season?
Yeah.
When things are good again, how quickly will people forget their need of God, or their need of assistance, or their need of help? It might take a while for the country to bounce back, sure, but there will come a day when we'll forget it. It's the same with my illness. There are days when I'm pushing hard and I forget that there were those days when I couldn't do it, and I forget to be grateful for what I have.
Yeah.
So I think I've rambled a bit there, but I think what I'm looking for is that real opportunity for us all to be honest and say, look, some of the things that we were doing before we were forced to stop weren't getting us anywhere. We were generating more heat than light with our busyness. How can we be light for this world without wasting so much energy on all that heat? That's kind of what I'm hoping for. It's kind of an abstract idea, but it's something that we have to work through.
Yeah, I get that, and that's a helpful analogy, actually, the heat and light comment there. I think for our corps in Cambridge, it definitely makes us when we can't worship, it makes us miss worship, obviously, but it makes us realize what we really valued. And I think for some who are extra busy, it makes them realize how busy they were as well. So it is a good opportunity to evaluate, isn't it? I think you're right. Some good hopes for the future there, Darren, about being fruitful. Thanks very much for that. And thank you very much for being our guest tonight, my guest on Composer Meets Composer. I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you, Darren, and let's hope it's not going to be too long before we can meet and maybe, if we're permitted, shake hands or hug in real life.
Yes.
We look forward to that day, don't we? And I know my wife will keep listening to Guardian of my soul for all of her days.
Do you want me to sign a copy for her?
Yeah, if you could. And just remember, if you could get Lynn to listen to something of mine at some point, that'd be appreciated. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. In 2 weeks' time, I'm really looking forward to chatting with Ken Waterworth. Ken is the conductor of the Melbourne Staff Band and the Salvation Army's music director down there in Australia. So that'll be at 9 p.m. on Sunday, the 1st of November. So I do hope you can all join us for that particular chat. And Ken's a real fun guy and a very inspirational and innovative guy, I would say. So it's going to be really fun talking to him about his work as a music director and also with the Melbourne Staff Band and as a Salvationist, of course. So I hope you can join in a couple of weeks' time. So for now, it's goodbye from Darren and me. We'll give you a lovely wave. And we say, God bless you. Thanks very much for watching. Cheerio, everybody. And good night. God bless.
Right.